A new year often means new resolutions, people wanting to make a fresh start, out with the old and in with the new, and sometimes that includes marriage. The third week of January has the highest rate of divorce filings. Joining me now to talk about it this morning is certified financial planner Regina McCann Hess, founder of Forge Wealth Management, and the author of the book, Superwoman Wealth, How to Become Your Own Financial Hero. Good morning, Regina.
Good morning.
So what's the deal about January being a big month for divorce filings?
Well, many people put off their divorce filings until after January or after the holidays so that they don't have their children finding out accidentally from a well-intentioned family member. They also want to avoid, I guess, a dark cloud following all their family gatherings with a divorce announcement.
Okay. Well, in addition to you being a certified financial planner, you're also a certified divorce financial analyst. What do you do in that role?
Yeah, so I help clients, along with their mediators or attorneys, determine the financial implications of their divorce and what's that going to look like on the other side of the divorce for them. So I help them with the asset split and determining which assets work better for them on the other side of the divorce. I also educate them and provide financial advice for their unique circumstances because of the divorce. And then, of course, with more assets it's just more complicated. So then I help them wade through that as well. To begin with, though, I guess folks really, from the very beginning, have to be pretty organized. I mean, should they start with like a list of their assets and their debts? Yeah, that's one of the best things they could do, is developing that list of assets and debts, anything with a number on it. And it starts with your retirement accounts, your brokerage accounts, your investments, your bank accounts, anything with a number on it. You also want to look at your properties as well, include that in there. In addition, you have to look at your debts, whether or not it's student loan debt, mortgage, credit card debt, any kind of debt that you would have, even a car loan. And then you also want to think about your life insurance policies. You want to look at, bring all that information into the mix, healthcare insurance, life insurance, disability, long-term care. Lastly, and one of the most important things is to get a copy of your most recent tax return, because the tax return does tell a story. I have actually uncovered assets that were not disclosed during a divorce proceeding by just looking through the tax return.
Is that because normally, a lot of times, I should say, one of the couples handles all the finances? I mean, I've heard a lot of situations where, a spouse has a credit card that's like through the roof and the other spouse didn't know about it. Is it the same thing with, hiding different assets and then they just say, here, sign our tax return?
It happens a lot more than you think.
Wow.
And sometimes it's not malicious. Sometimes it's just, one person tends to take care of that in the relationship and the other doesn't. And that's fine. But when you're going through a divorce, it's time to get back up on that bike and ride it and learn and relearn how to do things like that.
I just think of that movie, War of the Roses.
Oh, dear.
Craziness. You don't want that. And everyone wants things to be equitable and fair. But when it comes to salary, quite often, particularly women, leave the workforce for a period of time to take care of kids or elderly family members. Men do as well, but for the most part, historically, women. How does that impact things? There's a salary disparity.
Oh, huge sometimes, right? And on average, when women tend to step out of the workforce for 12 years, and that's taking care of their children and their ailing adult family members. But that takes them out of the workforce and has them re-entering the workforce at an entry level and, of course, at an entry pay, which means a lot of times they can't even afford the cash flow needs for their basic expenses.
So does that when like alimony and stuff like that come into play?
Yes, and that's why a lot of spouses ask for alimony or spousal support to help them with basically paying for the basic bills.
You're dividing some of these big assets, a house, for instance. I mean, are there tax complications that people don't really think of initially that then come to play?
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to say is that not every dollar is equal. On paper, it looks the same. So if you have a house, you have two big assets are your home and your retirement account. So if you have your home, and we're just going to assume equal, it's going to be $500,000, there's no mortgage on it, and you have a retirement account that's also worth $500,000. So if you sell the home as a married couple before the divorce, you've been in that house for 2 out of the past 5 years, you get to waive $250,000 each for the federal side of taxes for capital gains. So therefore you walk away with every penny minus expenses.
Okay.
However, if you take money out of a retirement account, that $500,000, say if you're in a 32% tax bracket, now you're only getting about 68% of that money. That's a big difference. When on paper it looks the same.
So you really do need to kind of analyze the numbers. That's where you come in. And what happens to a couple that, their finances have been intertwined for 20, 30 years? Maybe one of the spouses has been out of work or out of the workforce for a number of years. What happens to their financial identity when this split is made?
Well, they have to recreate it. So one of the first things that I do is tell my clients to get an annual credit report, and you can get one free per year. So pull that credit report, see what your numbers are, see where your problems are, where you're looking really good. The second thing, I recommend that you get a credit card in your name only, and then go and use that credit card just for getting gas in your car every month and paying that off 100%, because that's going to help build your credit score.
It really is eye-opening. Do you think most people, when they initially file for divorce, are aware of all the ins and the outs of this stuff?
Not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of education that happens through the divorce process that I'm part of, and it's just helping them see what they are going to need to handle on the other side of divorce, and the financial implications of the decisions that they're going to make at the agreement table.
Because once you sign, there's no
going back unless there's fraud. So that's why it's key to understand what you're signing before you sign it.
Really good advice. Thank you, Regina. Regina McCann Hess, thank you so very much. And Regina's book is on sale now. Be sure to get it.